Most finance videos explain how rich people live, but today we are discussing behaviors that quietly destroy wealth. This video is not about judging anyone, but helping you avoid mistakes that slowly derail your financial future. If money stress has ever made you feel behind or confused, you are exactly who this video was made for. Before we continue, gently tap like if you appreciate calm, honest money conversations without hyper pressure. That small action helps this video reach people who need clarity about money, not promises of quick riches. Consider subscribing if you want practical financial thinking that focuses on stability, clarity, and long-term peace. And leave a quick comment telling us which state you are watching from, because money pressure feels different everywhere. Sharing this video with someone you care about could quietly help them avoid years of unnecessary financial stress. Today we are breaking down 8 signs that someone may look wealthy, but is actually hurting themselves financially. These signs are incredibly common, especially in a world driven by social media, branding, and constant comparison. You have probably seen at least one of these behaviors in coworkers, friends, influencers, or maybe even yourself. That does not make anyone bad or irresponsible. It simply means nobody taught us what real wealth actually looks like. Real wealth is not about logos, applause, or expensive appearances that disappear once the credit card bill arrives. Real wealth is about building quiet stability that allows you to sleep better, stress less, and choose freely. The goal of this video is to help you recognize dangerous patterns before they become permanent financial habits. Each sign may seem harmless alone, but together they can quietly prevent people from ever building real security. As we go through each one, notice which patterns feel familiar without judging yourself or anyone else. Awareness is the first step toward changing your relationship with money in a healthier, more sustainable direction. Let us start with the first sign, which often appears early when someone wants to look rich quickly. The first sign of fake wealth is buying entry-level luxury items mainly for the brand name. This usually looks like buying the cheapest luxury car or designer item just to display a recognizable logo. The focus is not quality or comfort, but being associated with a brand that signals status to others. Many people stretch their budget to afford the logo, hoping the image will eventually create real success themselves. Brands often market craftsmanship and heritage, yet many luxury goods are massively marked up compared to production costs. This does not mean luxury is always bad, but buying it too early creates financial pressure for people. Studies from Consumer Reports show luxury vehicles cost significantly more to insure and maintain over time for owners. Yet many buyers ignore these ongoing costs because the monthly payment feels manageable at first to them initially. What matters is not whether you own luxury, but whether luxury ownership delays real wealth building for you. People with stable wealth usually buy nicer things after their finances are already secure and predictable over time. Those pretending to be rich often reverse this order, buying status first and hoping income follows later on. Unfortunately, income rarely grows fast enough to justify purchases made purely for appearance without causing long-term financial damage. This leads us to the second sign, where spending a large income percentage becomes normalized over time for many. Fake wealth often requires spending 20 to 30% of income just to maintain appearances publicly consistently online. In contrast, households with real wealth typically spend far less on status-related purchases each year overall nationwide. According to Federal Reserve data, high-net-worth families allocate a much smaller share of income consistently long-term. This difference matters because every dollar spent signaling wealth is unavailable for investing or saving towards security later. Over time, high lifestyle spending locks people into working harder, just to keep appearances intact, financially exhausting patterns. Meanwhile, wealthy households protect flexibility by keeping fixed lifestyle costs surprisingly low relative to income levels over time. This allows income increases to strengthen savings rather than inflate spending expectations year after year consistently for families. The third sign becomes clear when luxury items cost more than what sits in savings accounts today personally. Imagine carrying a $5,000 bag while your emergency savings barely cover a minor unexpected expense today. This situation feels impressive externally, but internally it creates constant anxiety and vulnerability around money decisions daily today. Many Americans still lack adequate emergency funds, according to recent Federal Reserve surveys released publicly nationwide today data. When luxury purchases exceed savings, it signals priorities focused on appearance, rather than financial resilience long-term stability today. A helpful rule is simple. If you cannot afford it twice, you probably should not buy it yet. Budget frameworks like the 50-30-20 rule exist to keep spending aligned with sustainable financial goals long term. Even earning $10,000 monthly does not justify blowing an entire discretionary budget on one item alone. The fourth sign appears socially when conversations constantly drift back toward money, income, or expensive purchases unnecessarily often. Secure people rarely need to announce financial success because their confidence does not depend on validation publicly ever. In contrast, fake wealth often requires constant verbal reminders to others that success supposedly exists already today publicly. You may hear bragging about income, investments, or deals that conveniently remain unfinished or unrealized frequently today everywhere. Talking about money before it arrives creates an illusion that masks financial instability beneath confidence temporarily for listeners. Real money becomes real only when it reaches your bank account and remains there reliably long-term safely intact. The fifth sign shows up online, where social media becomes a stage for curated financial theater daily performances. Highlight reels of shopping sprees attract attention, while saving money rarely receives the same applause online today anywhere. So, some individuals even purchase fake followers or engagement to manufacture the appearance of success online artificially today publicly. Regulators and platforms have reported widespread influencer fraud involving bots and artificial engagement metrics recently nationwide online disclosures. When wealth requires constant audience approval, it often signals insecurity rather than genuine financial strength beneath appearances today. The sixth sign returns to cars, specifically leasing luxury vehicles simply because monthly payments seem affordable initially alone. Leasing often disguises the true cost by spreading depreciation across payments, while guaranteeing repeated expenses later on continuously. When you lease a luxury car, you are essentially paying for the most expensive years of ownership repeatedly. Dealerships calculate depreciation, interest, taxes, and fees, so leasing often benefits them more than drivers long term. After the lease ends, many people return the car and immediately sign another expensive agreement again repeatedly. This cycle prevents wealth building because money keeps flowing outward without creating lasting ownership or equity ever. Buying a reliable used vehicle often provides similar comfort without the steep financial drain over time consistently. Leasing may make sense for specific business or tax reasons, but rarely as a personal wealth strategy. The seventh sign involves chasing opportunities promising wealth faster than normal through trendy financial schemes constantly. Forex trading, crypto day trading, dropshipping, or options are often marketed as life-changing shortcuts today. Regulatory data shows most retail participants in these strategies lose money over extended periods consistently long-term. These schemes thrive on future promises, not present results, keeping participants emotionally invested despite losses accumulating. Fake wealth often lives in future tense, discussing deals coming soon rather than money already earned safely. Real wealth grows slowly, quietly, and predictably through boring habits, repeated consistently across many years patiently. The eighth sign appears in conversations where someone always needs to outdo others' experiences financially, socially, constantly. They may downplay your achievements while emphasizing their own vacations, purchases, or exclusive experiences relentlessly publicly. This competitive mindset reveals insecurity rather than abundance, turning every interaction into a subtle financial comparison contest. See, people with real wealth rarely need to win conversations because they feel secure without external approval validation. Constant one-uppers feel threatened by others' success because it challenges the image they work hard maintaining. True financial confidence allows people to celebrate others' wins without redirecting attention back to themselves, ever. Across all 8 signs, a common pattern emerges. Appearance is prioritized over stability, security, and peace. Fake wealth focuses on being seen, while real wealth focuses on being prepared for life, unpredictability calmly. Recognizing these patterns is not about shame, but about giving yourself permission to choose better habits long-term. If you have noticed even one sign here, it simply means you have an opportunity to adjust now. Most people never pause to question these behaviors, allowing them to quietly shape financial outcomes over many years. Awareness creates choice, and choice creates control over where your money actually goes each month, year, and decade. Small changes in spending behavior often produce massive differences in stress, freedom, and long-term stability for families. Real wealth rarely announces itself loudly because it does not need constant validation or approval from others daily. Instead, it shows up as flexibility, calm decisions, and the ability to handle emergencies confidently without panic or fear. That quiet confidence is invisible on social media, but deeply powerful in real-life situations over time, consistently. As you think about these signs, consider which habits are helping versus quietly hurting you financially, emotionally, long-term. Financial progress rarely comes from dramatic changes, but from steady adjustments repeated consistently over long periods of time. You do not need to abandon enjoyment, luxury, or comfort to build lasting financial security slowly, intentionally, sustainably. You simply need to place them after saving, stability, and investments are already firmly established in your life. When spending aligns with values instead of appearances, money becomes a tool rather than a stressor for living. This shift allows you to enjoy progress quietly without comparing yourself to anyone else online, daily, socially, constantly. Over time, these choices compound into greater freedom, fewer regrets, and stronger financial confidence across many stages of life. If this video helped clarify your thinking, consider sharing it with someone navigating similar pressures around money today. These conversations can quietly change trajectories when introduced early, before mistakes become habits that are difficult to undo. If you value calm, practical discussions about money, subscribing ensures you never miss future guidance like this again. Leave a comment below sharing which sign felt most familiar or which surprised you personally today, honestly, most. Remember, real wealth whispers, and choosing stability today creates options and peace tomorrow without needing approval from others. Building wealth is less about income level and more about behaviors repeated consistently across ordinary days over time. Many high earners still struggle financially because spending expands quickly when habits are never intentionally questioned over time. Meanwhile, moderate earners often build security by controlling expenses, avoiding debt, and prioritizing saving early consistently first monthly. This difference explains why appearances can be misleading when judging someone's true financial position over long periods of time. Wealth is not a snapshot moment, but a long process shaped by decisions made quietly over many years. Choosing delayed gratification protects you from pressure to impress people who will not matter later in your life. Financial peace comes from alignment between spending, saving, and values, rather than chasing validation from others constantly online. Once you stop performing wealth publicly, you gain clarity about what actually improves your life long-term well-being. That clarity makes financial decisions calmer, simpler, and far less reactive to social pressure over time periods consistently. Instead of copying others' lifestyles, you begin designing one that fits your priorities realistically, sustainably, long-term, comfortably. This mindset shift often marks the moment people stop looking rich and start becoming secure financially, emotionally, permanently. Security allows mistakes without catastrophe, providing room to learn, adjust, and recover financially over long periods safely, calmly. In contrast, fake wealth leaves no margin for error, amplifying stress with every unexpected expense over time cycles. The goal is not perfection, but progress toward habits that support freedom and resilience, long-term stability consistently. Each positive adjustment strengthens your financial foundation, even when results are not immediately visible to others externally today. Over years, these invisible improvements compound into opportunities that appearances alone can never buy for you long-term. That is why real wealth rarely announces itself, because it does not need approval from others publicly ever. It simply exists quietly, supporting choices, health, and relationships without demanding attention from anyone else externally ever again. If you want more videos like this, stay curious, question habits, and keep learning about money, behavior, psychology. Thank you for watching, and remember that the most powerful financial moves are often invisible to others initially. Before we wrap up, let us quickly revisit why reducing fake wealth behaviors creates lasting financial advantages long-term. When spending pressure drops, saving becomes easier, decisions improve, and stress levels decline noticeably over time for families. This allows emergencies to become inconveniences rather than disasters that force debt, panic, or desperate choices during crises. Over time, consistency matters more than intensity, because habits compound quietly even when progress feels slow for years. Choosing not to impress others financially frees mental energy for goals that genuinely improve your life long-term well-being. It also reduces comparison, which research links to lower happiness and higher anxiety around money decisions daily today. According to recent surveys, financial stress remains one of the top causes of anxiety among Americans nationwide today. Reducing fake wealth habits directly addresses that stress by rebuilding control and predictability over finances' long-term stability goals. This control creates breathing room, allowing thoughtful planning instead of reactive spending driven by emotions, daily patterns consistently. Planning ahead makes goals like investing, home ownership, or career flexibility far more achievable for most people today. None of this requires extreme frugality, deprivation, or rejecting enjoyment entirely from your lifestyle choices, long-term balance maintained. It simply requires intentional sequencing, building stability first before upgrading comforts responsibly later, with income growth sustainably over time. That sequence separates people who appear wealthy briefly from those who remain financially strong decades later consistently over time. As you move forward, focus less on how money looks and more on how money works for you personally. That shift alone can change your financial trajectory more than any single purchase ever could long-term significantly lasting. If this perspective resonated, remember that improvement starts with awareness, not perfection or guilt about past choices mistakes. Financial confidence grows gradually as you practice consistency, patience, and restraint across everyday decisions over long periods of time. Those qualities rarely attract attention online, but they quietly shape freedom, health, and relationships for your future well-being. If you want continued guidance focused on clarity rather than hype, consider staying connected here for future videos updates. Together, we can normalize calm money conversations that help more people build stability quietly without pressure, shame, judgment. One reason fake wealth feels tempting is because society often rewards appearance faster than patience or discipline. Advertising constantly suggests success should look immediate, luxurious, and publicly visible to feel meaningful or valid. Over time, this messaging trains people to equate spending with progress, even when finances are quietly deteriorating underneath. Recognizing this influence helps you step back and separate marketing narratives from your actual financial reality today. Real progress usually feels boring, repetitive, and unsatisfying in the short term, yet powerful over decades. Saving, investing, and debt reduction rarely create exciting stories, but they quietly build strength and optionality. Optionality means having choices when life changes unexpectedly, without panic or forced compromises during difficult moments. Fake wealth removes options by locking money into appearances that cannot support you when circumstances shift suddenly. This is why many people earning good income still feel trapped, anxious, or behind financially despite success externally. Their money is already spent maintaining an image, leaving little flexibility for real priorities or like emergencies later. Choosing substance over appearance gradually restores control, confidence, and peace around financial decisions over time consistently. Each responsible choice strengthens trust in yourself, reducing dependence on external validation from others ever again. That internal confidence makes resisting pressure easier when new trends or status symbols inevitably appear again. Over time, resisting becomes normal, and spending decisions feel intentional rather than emotionally driven reactions. This mindset protects you from cycles of regret that often follow impulsive purchases made for approval. Financial maturity develops when comfort comes from preparedness, not praise, applause, or perceived social rank. Preparedness allows you to focus energy on relationships, health, and meaningful work without constant money anxiety. These benefits rarely show online, but they profoundly improve quality of life over long periods. As you continue learning, remember that clarity always beats complexity when managing money effectively. Simple principles practiced consistently will outperform flashy strategies that promise fast results repeatedly over time. When you stop chasing appearances, money decisions become calmer, clearer, and aligned with long-term personal goals. This alignment reduces friction between what you earn, what you spend, and what you truly value most. Over time, fewer emotional decisions lead to fewer regrets and stronger confidence in your financial direction. Many people discover peace not by earning more, but by needing less validation from purchases. This shift creates breathing room, allowing income to serve your life instead of controlling it daily. Real wealth supports your future self quietly, even when nobody else notices your discipline. That support becomes visible during emergencies, career transitions, or opportunities requiring flexibility and financial readiness. Fake wealth disappears quickly during stress, revealing how fragile appearances truly are beneath pressure. Building resilience means prioritizing savings, insurance, and investments before upgrading lifestyle choices gradually. This approach may feel slower, but it consistently produces better outcomes for most people long-term. Financial independence rarely arrives dramatically, but through steady habits repeated during ordinary, unglamorous days. Those days may feel boring, yet they quietly determine whether money becomes a burden or tool. A tool gives you options, while a burden limits choices and increases stress during uncertain moments. Choosing wisely today protects tomorrow from unnecessary pressure caused by past financial decisions. As priorities shift, you may notice less interest in impressing others and more focus on stability. This change signals maturity, not deprivation, because freedom matters more than attention over time. Freedom allows you to say no, slow down, or pivot when life demands flexibility unexpectedly. These benefits compound quietly, rewarding patience far more reliably than shortcuts ever could. At its core, wealth is about control over your time, energy, and choices. Everything else is decoration that matters far less than feeling secure, prepared, and calm. As we finish, remember that financial success rarely looks impressive early, but it feels incredibly empowering later. The habits that build security often feel invisible, uncomfortable, and unrewarded in the short term initially. Yet, those same habits quietly create stability that protects you from stress, regret, and financial panic. If you take only one lesson today, let it be this simple perspective shift. Stop asking whether something makes you look successful and start asking whether it makes you safer. Safety creates freedom, and freedom creates options that money alone can never guarantee without discipline. When your finances support your life, rather than your image, everything begins to feel lighter and calmer. You gain confidence not from spending, but from knowing you can handle unexpected challenges responsibly. That confidence compounds into better decisions, stronger boundaries, and healthier relationships around money. Over time, you may notice less interest in comparisons and more satisfaction in quiet progress. This is the difference between performing wealth and actually living with financial stability. Performing wealth demands constant effort, while real stability quietly supports you without ongoing stress. The goal is not perfection, but consistent improvement toward a calmer, more intentional financial life. Every small choice you make today shapes the options available to you years from now. Choose habits that your future self will thank you for, rather than impress others briefly. If this video helped you reflect differently about money, that awareness alone is meaningful progress. Feel free to share this perspective with someone who might need reassurance about their financial path. Conversations like this help normalize stability over status in a culture obsessed with appearances. If you value calm, honest discussions about money, consider staying connected for future videos. Remember, real wealth whispers, and building it quietly often leads to the most fulfilling outcomes.